What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic. Happy to have you guys back. And you guys know, like I do in each and every week, we'll wait a few moments here, man, to allow a few of you guys to get up in here, as well as I will share the link out to a few special people, man. But again, for you guys who are early watchers, early viewers, I want to say what's up to you guys. How's everybody doing? Are you guys excited for training camp that will be kicking off this Friday? The team actually has to report on Thursday. So we're about to get back into the nitty gritty, man. So we'd love to welcome you guys to the show. Give me a second. Like I said, man, I always got to share the stream out to a few special folks. Share it out here on Twitter as well. And we also share it out via Facebook, just to try to, give everybody an opportunity to chime in for those guys who want to do so. Give me just a second, guys, and I will be ready to roll with you guys. How's everybody doing so far, man? Hope everybody's good. Hope everybody had a great week. And let's see, one other person I have to add it to, and then we will get started. All right, here we are. Without further ado, once again, man, let me take the time here to welcome you guys to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. And like I said before, I am your host, SimFBallCritic. Hopefully there's more and more of you guys in here right now. And, before I dive all the way into it, of course, I will do the intro once again. So what you're currently seeing here on the screen is just me going through basically, the topics to let you guys know what we're going to cover tonight. We won't be on too long. I say that each and every week, but definitely want to try to stick to my time frame of 30 minutes, not to exceed 45, but we try to keep it closer to that 30-minute time frame. And what I want to discuss tonight, man, is definitely the position battles heading into training camp. It's got some very interesting position battles that we got going on. We want to talk a little bit about where PFF is ranking the Steelers secondary so far. This is before, the season starts, obviously. We want to also talk about TJ Watt, being ranked 93rd in the NFL top 100. And then we'll talk a little bit about Odell Beckham and what Joe Haden had to say, basically saying that he'll be shadowing Odell Beckham this upcoming season. Of course, you guys that don't know, most of you would know, but for you guys that don't know, Odell Beckham obviously has been traded to the Cleveland Browns. He will be a Cleveland Brown, which means we will have to face him and those Browns twice this year. All right, so really quick, man, let me say what's up to my people. Shout outs to Wyatt Diggy, Fun Guy, Brandon Cheney, my brother Tony is in the building. Maurice Ware, what's up, home? Repping Steelers Nation from Alabama, Roll Tide. That's what's up, Maurice. We're happy to have you here. Brian Legoretta, I hope I'm saying that correctly. My good brother Kenyon is in the building, and Gold Drip. I remembered the pronunciation. My man Gold Drip is up in here, and I got things falling all over my house here, man. Y'all probably heard that little noise right there. You probably heard me do a little reaction. My 5-year-old, just to give you guys a heads up, he's here upstairs. My wife is out right now, but he's watching the TV, so I'm kind of listening for him as well as doing the show. That's why it's not going to be as long tonight. And I heard this little punching bag thing he has slid, but it almost sounded like something else upstairs. So that's why I kind of reacted like that. Always children first, but just giving you guys a heads up there. Patrick Covington is in the building. And yeah, let's get started. Man. Hopefully more and more people will come in here as we get going. Let's see, man. First thing I want to tackle. So, TJ Watt is ranked number 23 in the NFL top 100. And I kind of want to ask you guys, man, you guys leave the comment here. Do you think Watt should be ranked higher than that? Is that a worthy spot, or should he be a little higher? What do you guys think? My opinion, it's good to see TJ Watt get some recognition. I can't say if he should be higher than 93 right now, because we can't just go off of recency bias. TJ Watt had an outstanding year last year, but you have to understand, ranking him against 100 other players, whether that be offense or defense, you got to first look at where he ranked defensively. And then, of course, you got to look at, the potency of some of the offensive players. So I don't think it's a bad spot. I think he's definitely worthy of that 93. I think he's definitely going to be a stud for us. This is one guy that we all were right about for the most part. Most of us weren't overly joyed about him being the pick, obviously because, he wasn't ranked as high as some of the lead guys in that particular year. But we all did say, look, man, we think TJ Watt has an opportunity. And TJ Watt has shown and proven that, hey, he could be that legitimate guy, man. He definitely showed it last year with his sacks and his pressures and just everything that he offered to the defense. So I think all of us were kind of right on that speculation saying that he will become and grow into being an outstanding player. I think that 93rd spot is worthy. And before I continue, guys, let me first give a round of applause and a shout out to Vodka Drinker for the donation. Definitely appreciate that, man. You scare me with that 666 being the donation. I don't know to thank, whether I should thank God for the donation or be afraid because of the 666. But no, I'm just fooling around playing. Appreciate that, man. And I appreciate all of you guys that so desire to donate. And of course, if you want to do so, you can do it right here on YouTube the way he did it. You click the $sign. If you would like to do it by other means, if you feel more secure with PayPal and or Cash App, I have that information in the description as well. And I will be honest in saying, listen, I'm not trying to deter anyone, but I would be honest in saying, I always keep it real with you guys. If you do donate, I definitely prefer Cash App or PayPal because YouTube cuts so much of it, man. I mean, they basically cut almost into half of your donation. So, just my preference, but I would never tell anybody where to donate, how to donate, because the fact that you are donating, period, is a blessing. So I appreciate that. But yeah, what was I saying, man? TJ Watt. I think TJ Watt is definitely worthy of that 93 spot, man. And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with it. Again, I'm not going to be biased, a biased Steelers fan, and say he should be higher. I think he needs to continue to earn that rep. And I think he has earned it. Again, we're talking about 100 players. So it's great to see our second year guy at pass rush, manning that outside linebacker position is that high, because we haven't had a killer or somebody that you needed to respect in the outside linebacker or just pass rush, period. We haven't had that guy in a long time. So it's great to see that TJ Watt is definitely getting that recognition. So next up, man, you're right, man. YouTube rakes about 30%. Yeah, they do. So like I said, guys, again, I'm not a beggar, so beggars can't be choosers, as the old saying goes. But, if you guys prefer to donate to me, I feel like you guys are donating to me, so I'm just being honest with you guys. That method is way more beneficial to me in terms of me actually receiving your donation. If you do it on YouTube, they're going to get a good portion of that anyway. But yeah, let me go back to something else I was saying. I wanted to read Vodka Drinker's comment because that's basically, obviously a perk of you donating. It highlights your comment. So I want to read that. It says, I always thought it was the best to double team the team's best receiver and locking down number 2 with your best guy. Yeah, I like that. And that's what your boy does. Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick has made his heyday doing that. I'm over talking now. I meant to say he made his hay, not heyday. But y'all know what I mean. Bill Belichick has made his hay, basically taking the number 1 guy, putting him on your number 2, and then they double team your number 1 receiver. And it works, okay? So, and we'll get to that here in just a moment. Well, actually, I'll roll right into that. I'm done with the TJ Watt topic. I'll go right into that next thing. Joe Haden was quoted as saying that, kind of alluded to that he will be following around Odell Beckham when we play Cleveland. And I would love to know what you guys think about that as well. I'll give my thoughts. Honestly, man, at first, I didn't really like the idea because, let's be honest, Joe Haden is not the cornerback he once was. I mean, age and attrition is going to catch up to you at some point. Joe Haden is 30 now, I believe. If he's not 30 already, he'll be turning 30 this year. And Odell Beckham is definitely in his prime, and this dude is very twitchy. He's an outstanding athlete, an outstanding receiver just from the capability that he has. I'm not going to be comfortable with too many people playing him or shadowing him. But Joe Haden is probably at this moment our number one cornerback, and he is. Steven Nelson will have to prove otherwise if he, can step up to the plate and become our more, reliable corner in terms of allowing him to shadow or the guy that we put in man more than not. But Joe Haden is the guy. But again, I was a little hesitant at first, but you got to go with your best guy. You got to, go with the best gun you got. Ain't no need of holding on to the secondary side piece. You better go with the best gun right out the gate and see what you can get done. And Joe Haden is that as far as cornerbacks, as far as we know. And then also, another reason why I felt a little better about it, man, if you've been looking at some of Joe Haden's, workouts with the foot guard or the footwork king, I believe his name is, he's looking good. And again, it's just in shorts, but footwork is part of the battle. Half of the battle, if you will, especially when you're a little older, older like Joe Haden. I'm not mad at it, man. It's just, I don't know. I just kind of feel like, we're taking a chance. But again, if other teams can do it, and if your cornerback is supposed to be a legit corner, you got to let him follow the number one receiver. We'll see. Those guys are close friends, and they also said that they haven't done any one-on-one workouts together in the offseason, even though they're actually training in the same location and they're training together. They're not doing any one-on-one drills together because obviously they know that matchup is coming. So they're going to hold that and, save that for when they hit the field. But we'll see. If there's anything to be happy about, it's good to see that the Steelers are kind of getting out of the way of their old ways. Where y'all know traditionally the Steelers, at least in the recent 5 years or so, they don't do no whole lot of traveling. It's an A side and a B side, and wherever the receiver lines up, that's who has them. So it's cool to see that we're going to break out of that mode a little bit and let your guy travel. I'm cool with that. But again, we're talking about Odell against a Joe Haden. You can expect Odell to win some of those battles. I'm just keeping it real. So those are my quick thoughts on that. Moving right along, man, the next thing I wanted to talk about is, speaking of secondary, Pro Football Focus ranks the Steelers secondary 28th in the league going into the season. How do you guys feel about that? Is it unfair? Is it just about right? But they're ranking us 28th. Now, I know some of us will probably be emotional about it. Again, we're emotional Steeler fans and we're biased by nature. Of course, you're going to be a little biased for your team, but y'all know me. I always try to keep it very real. I try to keep things in a real perspective, and I try not to have my Steeler bias, and I got to be honest. If we really think about who we have lining up at the secondary spots, man, in terms of starting units, and I will even include the nickel package in there because we're going to be in sub football quite often. Okay, we're talking about Joe Haden, Steven Nelson, Mike Hilton when we're in nickel. And then our safeties, we're talking about Sean Davis. And we're talking about Terrell Evans. How do you guys feel about that? Is 28 too high? Is 28 too low? Is 28 just about right? I have to honestly say, man, if they're judging it off of things more than just coverage skills, if they're talking about takeaways and where the Steelers finished last year. Again, it's a different unit when you add even just one new piece, and a guy like Steven Nelson. But if you look at how we finished, I don't think we can argue much higher than that. You can't always go off of potential. You have to rank these guys based off of the last thing you saw. Now, you would think throwing Steven Nelson in there with him having 4 interceptions last year would automatically increase our odds, but again, I don't always agree with Pro Football Focus, but I do think Pro Football Focus does some things well and some things I agree with. But that's an interesting conversation piece right there, man, as Steeler fans. And y'all remember this because at the end, once I'm done going through my segment and if there's any phone calls, we'll circle back and I'll have you guys, throw some chats out there. And I'll ask you guys again at that point so I can get your opinion. What y'all think about that, being ranked at 28. We'll definitely like to hear from you guys there. So, all right, man, the last thing I want to talk about here before we go to the call lines, and if there's no calls, we'll just, spend some time here in the chat. Next thing I definitely wanted to talk about, man, is the most anticipated position battles going into training camp. And I'm just going to throw a few out there. I could miss one or two, but just want to get some conversation going. Listen, I got to say right out the gate, man, one that you guys might laugh at a little bit, but it's legitimate. And I'm looking at the roster here to make sure I get names and everything right. Give me a second. Let me get it. One that I'm going to throw out there at you guys right away. Kicker. I ain't lying, man. One of my most anticipated is the kicker spot. Is it going to be Chris Boswell or this guy Matthew Wright? Rookie out of Central Florida. I'm interested in that because we all know what happened to Boswell last year. He went from being another nominated killer bee to just killing our opportunity. As my poor attempt to throw a rhyme in right there. Again, he went from a nominated killer bee to being a killer of opportunity. Because my goodness, you look at an outstanding, play that almost went for a touchdown in Oakland, the hook and ladder. Boswell gets in position to possibly tie and misses the field goal. Slips. Now I understand it happens, but I mean him slipping in that moment was the last straw, man. It was just the whole season that he had been having so far, just crushing down on him at one time. That was just basically a bad image of what his whole season had been like. Missed field goals, missed extra points after signing your deal, after having a phenomenal season the year before, to being what we just recently saw him do. Now this guy Matthew Wright, he's a rookie. He's going to be hungry. I'm interested in seeing who wins that battle. I really am interested in that. Next on the list, the running back spot. Now, I'm not talking about starters, guys. I'm just talking about the number 2. Most of us have already talked about the guys. We know who they're going to be, who I'm expecting it to be if they keep 3. If they keep 4, the 4th spot is a little tricky, but I think A through C will be John Connor, Jalen Samuels, and Benny Snell. But the battle is who will be the number 2 guy. A lot of us keep saying that it'll be a running back by committee and we can get all 3 of these guys on the field, but we know the Steelers sometimes stick to their guns. They might feel like only rotating 2 guys, right? So who's the number 2 guy? Is it Snell or is it Samuels? Very interesting battle, and I'm very interested in seeing how that pans out. Okay? Another spot. This is an obvious one. I know we all are probably feeling this way. Inside linebacker. Okay? Now, the inside linebacker spot is very interesting because I really feel like to start the season, Vince Williams is probably going to be in the fold. And the reason why, of course, is his tenure. He's been a starter. He calls the defense, etc., etc. I think we all can agree that there's some scenarios that we'd rather not see Vince Williams out there. And that could be a situation where it is Mark Barron and Devin Bush. Or could be a situation where it is Mark Barron and Devin Bush right out the gate. So I don't know if there's really a battle because I can actually envision I can see a scenario where all 3 of those guys are playing each and every game. So I don't know if it's really going to matter because I think when we start getting into the sub-package stuff, I think you're going to see a whole heck of a lot of Devin Bush, as he progresses. And who knows, this kid might progress very fast and he might start very quick like Shazier did. But again, it's interesting. I don't know who sits down as far as base package. Is it going to be Vince and Barron? Is it going to be Vince and Bush? Is it going to be Bush and Barron? I don't know. But all of this was probably going to unfold in training camp and through preseason. Very interested in seeing that battle. Now, the next one, man, I was going to say wide receiver, but I don't know if there's really a battle I'm looking for there because, again, we don't know how the Steelers are going to classify Juju. I think the best thing for us is that Juju still gets a lot of work in the slot. So I can't really say there's a slot battle in terms of like a Switzer and the Spencer kid and Eli. I don't know because I don't know if, again, I think the plan is to still let Juju work inside quite often. So then the question is, who's your Z and who's your X? So I'm going to leave that off the list. I'll just see how that unfolds. I'm going to trust Fiedner in the offense, and I'm going to say that we can utilize these guys in multiple areas. So most of these guys will be able to touch the field. So I don't know if the battle per se really matters there. I'll let that, leave that for you guys to discuss. But the next thing I will discuss, man, and then I'll shut this down as far as giving my thoughts, and I'll, relay it back to you guys and see what you got. The dime backer, man. Who's going to be the dime backer? And I'm going to have to say it's got to be somebody in this safety group, right? You would think Marcus Allen. Again, he's a draft pick. He has a little bit of tenure over some of the other guys. Will it be a guy like Drayvon Askew Henry? Will it be Jordan Dangerfield? Will it be PJ Locke? I mean, it's a bunch of guys here that I don't know what's going to happen. And the reason why I'm specifically focusing on safety is because at the corner spots, we can kind of figure out who's probably going to make the cut. Artie Burns will probably make the team, guys. I'm just saying, just looking at the numbers and looking at Steelers' recent history, even though I'm glad when the Steelers change what they normally do, but just kind of looking at what they normally do, they probably are not going to cut a first-round guy in his last year of his rookie contract. Artie Burns will probably still make the team. Cameron Sutton will probably make the team. Justin Lane is going to make the team. Steven Nelson, obviously. Joe Haden, obviously. And then you're talking about one other corner. Could it be a Brian Allen that's up for grabs? It's very tricky when you talk about corners because then, of course, Mike Hilton is going to make it. So that's 6 right there before you even get to some of these other guys. So Artie Burns will probably make it. So I think the safety spot is the most intriguing. Again, because of depth, ability, and dime backer. Jordan Dangerfield has been a special teams dynamo, but do we necessarily want him to be the free safety backup? I don't know. So I think safety is going to be an interesting battle for positioning, pushing guys off the roster, whether they keep 4 safeties and 5 corners and, vice versa. It's going to be very interesting in that secondary group. But I think the safety group, more importantly, we're going to see some key battles there. You got Cameron Kelly. A lot of things could happen in that area. So there you are, man. Those are my position battles. That's what I'm looking at, most anticipated. And don't see any phone calls tonight, guys. So I'll jump right into the chat, man, and chop it up with you guys for a while. Let's see what's our time check. We're sitting at about 23 minutes, so we got good amount of time here to kill. If you do want to call really quick, guys, I'll be happy to take your call, man. I'll give you 2 minutes to say what you got. Area 619-924-0818. But until then, let me see what you guys got in the chat. And the first thing I want to know, man, comment on what I said about the secondary. Should we be ranked 28th going into the season based on who's currently on the roster? I want to hear you guys' thoughts on that. Brian says, what are your expectations for Devin Bush? I expect him to start at some point. I'm going to keep my emotions out of it, saying, I want him to start right away, because I kind of understand the process. But my expectations is for him to win a starting position by midseason and be a productive tackler and help us a bit in the passing game. I'm not going to put any lofty goals up on him and say, that the guy needs to make 10 sacks and all that. He's still a rookie. I just want to see him work his way into the starting position and be very serviceable for us, at least in the first year. Make good amount of tackles, couple pass breakups, or even if it ain't no breakups, just showing himself to be very, very valuable in the pass defense. Those are my only expectations for Devin Bush this rookie season. My boy Kenya says Bush's read and recognition skills are his strengths. I would fully agree with that. Nays says we should be 15th. Ranked at 15th secondary wise. Okay, Nays, I need you to give me a little more of that. Tell me why. Tell me why you think we should be at 15th. Gold Drip says lack of safety depth. Yes, we deserve. He's talking about 28th. Eli says 28th is fair ranking. You have to prove it on the field first before you get the respect from the media. I fully agree with that. We do actually have a phone call, guys, so let me quickly run over here and grab the phone call. Let me get my headphones. Area code 803. You are live, 803. What you got for us, man?
Good evening. How's everything?
Oh, everything's good. How you doing?
Oh man, I'm hyped. I'm hyped up right now. I mean, I'm smelling the fresh cut grass. They're getting ready to hit the field. That's football right there. That smell of the grass first thing in the morning. We covered a lot of great points tonight. I think our secondary, I mean, quite honestly, I think we all used to the bend but don't break philosophy out of our secondary until we have somebody that can step up one day and prove that they're going to be the ball hawk. I think 20. I mean, yeah. I'm not overly optimistic to start the year off with the secondary. Our secondary usually gets better as the year go on. So, I'm not worried about where they have us ranked. Maybe that'll give our guys a little extra motivation to get out there and prove it, like you said. The Chris Boswell thing, I don't know what was his stats from last year, but I'm imagining we missed about, 10 extra points?
Yeah.
And those were some crucial extra points in some crucial games. So, just making that point, I don't know about how the kid from Central Florida is or not, but hell, we might get our own Dan Bailey or
yeah.
Justin Tucker. That would be nice.
Oh man, Tucker.
And as far as I think of the running back situation, I wish when Le'Veon Bell was there, we had the backups, the quality of backups. You know, I know we had D'Angelo one year, but I wish we could go possibly 3D. This year is allowing us, at least giving us the thought that that's how deep we're going to be at running back this year. But other than that, no questions. I'm just excited for football.
Absolutely, man. 803. I appreciate you calling, man. He's becoming a regular caller, so I definitely appreciate you for that, man. I always love to hear you guys' thoughts, and I agree with him. I mean, we'll see. You know, for the last several years, our defense has started off in the dumps. I mean, even not just where people rank them, but just looking at them on field. I mean, I understand what Patrick Mahomes turned out to be, but guys, I know we all were puking last year watching that Chiefs game that early in the season. We all had our heads down like, bruh, I hope this is not how we're going to be playing this year, secondary-wise. And then we got better. You know, a pass rush started getting home, which that always works, in conjunction rather with coverage. So not too concerned. And, I agree with some of you guys in the chat. Maybe 28th is probably worth, that's probably where we should be. And like my man said, maybe that will motivate the guy. So I'm not mad at that. All right, and just looking at the time, guys, last call here. This will be the last call. Area code 386. Live. What you got for us tonight, man?
Hey, what's up, Sim? I've been rocking with you for a minute, man. I appreciate all your hard work. Love your content.
Definitely appreciate that, man.
Secondary, no doubt, bro. Secondary, last year, we got to remember we started a rookie strong safety. We had a free safety move to the position for the first time. We had Cody SimFBall and Artie Burns battling for one side. So I think just having pieces in place all through training camp, knowing what it is, having Steven Nelson in place, Joe Haden is a good corner. Mike Hilton is a turned out to be a good slot. Having Sean Davis a year under his belt, Terrell Edmonds a year under his belt. I think communication, as always, will be a key. If Sean Davis can get them boys lined up, call out what he sees, and be right about it. You know, he's a smart player. I like him because he's a smart player. So I'm not too worried about our secondary as I have been before. I just think, you know, as the season goes on, of course, every team gets better because your chemistry gets better. So as far as Devin Bush, I think he's a day one starter. I think they're going to push for him to be a day one starter. And I think Barron is a contingency plan in case, you know, he falters or can't handle it. I know Vince Williams is going to be on the field because he knows the defense. You know, he's a constant. He's a run stopper. He's athletically, he's gotten a little bit better. You know, he's at FSU. You know, he has that pedigree right there. So I'm not too worried about our offense. I mean, our defense. Offense, I'm a little bit more, you know, skeptical.
Yeah.
We got more pieces new on that side. That right tackle kind of concerns me. I like Matt Fielder, but losing Marcus Gilbert hurt. You know what I mean? Like, even though he was kind of hurt last year and dude stepped in, but I'm kind of interested in watching that, you know, in preseason, seeing how he does, because I think he's good, but, you know, he's a new player on that line. Running backs, I like it. I like our running backs. I think if we can get leads, then we have a stable of running backs to close games out. And that's what I think. That's how I'm looking at that, especially with defenses changing the way they're playing. New England kind of showed last year, if you're going to go light for coverage, we can run the ball. So I think that's a big thing right there. I'm not going to take up too much more of your time, but appreciate you, man. But, yeah, I'm kind of optimistic. I think, you know, we'll have a good year. Long, you know, you never know with injuries, but as long as that chemistry kick in, I think the Steelers will be just fine. We're probably going to surprise a few people. And I think the team is playing with something to prove, too, and I like that.
Absolutely, man. I thank you for your call, man. It sounds like he was a first-time caller, so I definitely appreciate that, and appreciate what you said, the kind words. You know, been rocking with me for a while, so much respect to that. And you're right. You know, just to comment on the last thing you said, listen, man, we always talk about, well, the NFL and all of the fans always say how the Patriots never are the most talented team, but yet look where they at every year. Why can't that be the Steelers? Okay, even if we feel like we're not as talented as we was, and the offense, I'm sure, will take a minor hit, but why can't we be that same team and play as a team and be, you know, close-knit and connected, a well-oiled machine like those Patriots? So anything is possible. But all right, guys, I am gonna take one more call. And you know, I saw you pop up in the queue. I don't want to not, you know, answer the call, but let me just say this for anybody else who's listening. We're gonna wrap up here right after this call. I'll look in the chat for a few seconds after the call. But area code, we're gonna take 443. But after that, guys, no more calls tonight. Again, going forward, we're starting to get in the thick of things now. Once training camp starts and the season starts, I would love for this show to become more me talking for literally less than 10 minutes, and the rest of the time is phone calls. And we'll get that going, because I'm speaking this into existence. I think this is going to become a bigger and better situation. More people are going to be calling, so I'm going to make sure we get our order and structure together. But let's go ahead and grab area code 443. You're live. What you got for us tonight?
Hey, what's up, Tim? It's Gold Drip.
Oh, Drip. What's up, man?
Nah, nothing. I just wanted to say I think Vince Williams has to hit the field this year, because, or at least more than Devin Bush, at least his first year, because I think it'll be beneficial for Devin Bush to sit for a year and kind of learn the ropes, kind of like Ben Simmons did with the Sixers. He was injured. His was a different circumstance, but I think it could help a rookie to sit for the first year. I think we can get away with having Mark Barron as kind of that fast linebacker type that Devin Bush is, and I think we would need Vince Williams for run stopping, because I don't think with bigger running backs, I can see us getting thrashed like we did against the Jaguars a couple years ago with like bigger backs when you have Bush and Barron in there. I just don't think that's a good run stopping combination. And as far as the position battle, I think safety. I think we're decent at safety. There's not much depth, but I think we're decent. I think the battle should be at running back. The like you said, like the second or third running back, because I think you should let Snell sit, because I think him and Connor kind of have the same similar running style. I think Samuels is more of a better catcher out of the backfield, and I think that'll be kind of a better asset, especially since AB is gone. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Absolutely, man, and Gold Drip, man. I appreciate the call, man. Definitely, long time commenter, so I appreciate you calling in. This is what it's about, man. That's why I opened up the call queue in the first place, and and got that service going, because I love to hear you guys' comments. I'm one of those people. I'm here to be the quote unquote host, and I inform, but I love hearing the opinions of others. I love that. I'm not one of them people that just raps themselves in their own mind and think they're always right. Nah, I love to hear what you guys have to say, whether you agree or disagree. So appreciate the call. And like I said, guys, I'll spend a few more minutes here. We're sitting at about 35 minutes. I'll spend about 3 or 4 minutes here in the chat to chop it up with you guys, and then we'll get out of here. Couple things I wanted to comment on, man. As I see some things here, I see that Kenyon and my boy Kenyon and Vodka Drinker, I believe, were kind of having a conversation back and forth. Vodka Drinker said, "Do you actually think the Steelers are letting a rookie get in our defensive lineup?" Yes. Let's think about recent history. We've done it with Ryan Shazier. We've done it with TJ Watt. The days of them not doing that, the Dick LeBeau era, that's gone. We have done it. Terrell Edmonds, and I know that was because of injury, but he still played. He played more than Dangerfield did. But definitely you got to look at Shazier, and you have to look at TJ Watt as the main two examples of, yes, a rookie can get on the field. Let's see, what else? I would like to see the dollar defense this year. Me too. Definitely would like to see that. Big Marv says, "I just want to say I got a real good feeling about this team this year. No drama, nobody talking about nobody's contract now, and nobody's talking about they don't like this person or that person." You're absolutely right. That's another thing, man. You actually reminded me of a point. Here we are going into training camp, and there's no news out there. There's no storyline, as far as negativity, no negativity, and there's no negative, kind of narrative built around the team other than, the Steelers are going to struggle without Antonio Brown. And to me, listen, I'm not going to beat up on the media, but that's low-hanging fruit. That just shows you that they have nothing else to talk about, right? And that's a good thing for this team, because last 2 years, that hasn't been the case for our Steelers. It's been a lot to talk about that we didn't want talked about. And yeah, Kenya just said TJ started as a rookie. He sure did. Vodka Drinker says he can play. I'm just saying he's not making our defense alignment. Not sure, man. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Because, again, if you've been watching the last couple years, rookies have played. Shazier and TJ Watt, those are your last two examples that these guys started very, very early. If I'm not mistaken, TJ Watt started day one. Aguilar says, "If Bush isn't a starter, I see him rotating with Barron since they both have the same speed and pass coverage skills." I would actually, not a challenge, Aguilar, but this is just, figure of speech. I would challenge that and say that Bush probably has better skills in that regard than Barron. And one interesting thing that Kenyon was saying that I was going to get to as well, it's funny how me and Kenyon sometimes are thinking the same thing. He said that Vince is actually playing Bush's spot, which is true. However, this is the interesting thing, Kenyon, and I want to hear from you. Is it possible that Bush could take that spot and then Vince would be what he was when Shazier was there? Because if you guys remember, Shazier was the dog. He was the lead guy, and I always forget which one is which. I think he was the buck, And Shazier was that, and then Vince was technically the sidekick, more of the thumper. So now, could it flip-flop to where Bush can be what Vince is, and then Vince goes back to where he played when he was playing with Shazier? So that's why I said, man, it could be Bush and Vince. And here's another thing. Both of them are good at communicating, so they can share that capability. You know, they could both share the fact that they are both able to communicate. So I don't know, man. You know, we could very well see Bush out there in one of those spots, and Barron could be the rotated guy. Barron could be the guy that comes in and plays in sub package, you know, while we're talking about a dime backer. I mean, it's a lot of different things that may or may not happen with the team. And shout outs, man, to Vodka Drinker dropping another donation. Appreciate you, man. Round of applause. Definitely appreciate that, man. That's 2 donations for my man Vodka Drinker tonight, so I appreciate that. And yeah, man, it's a lot of interesting things, man. A lot of interesting things could come out of this lineup and where guys will be lined up. It's just a lot to think about. But all in all, man, I'm very excited. We're about to get back into some real football. And what I plan to do, man, is to bring bonus coverage. You know, as we're hearing information from training camp days, you know, I'll try to do some quick streams, you know, after each day if I can, or at least, you know, try to up the ante and just put out as much content as I can. It will definitely, I can commit to this. I can commit to saying it will be more than just Terrible Towel Tuesday each week, now that we have more stuff to talk about. And I might not report too much, you know, until the pads come on. So the first couple days I may or may not. But definitely once the pads come on and once we start getting those real reports, and I'm going to give a plug right now to Steelers Depot. Guys, you want to be following Steelers Depot. Alex Kazor will be at each and every training camp practice. Him and Dave will be doing the Terrible Podcast. Those special editions will be pretty much each day giving us an account of what happened. And a lot of the information as far as what happened at camp, I'm going to be getting directly from them, because Alex will be there, and that will be the information that we would share here. So I'm just letting y'all know that in advance. So that's how it's going to go. A lot of content coming you guys' way. Like I said, I'll definitely pick it up once the pads come on, and depending on what happens in the first couple days, I may or may not do a special stream. Hopefully we're not talking about any type of injuries or anything like that. But needless to say, it's football time. As Steelers about to get underway, and we got a lot to talk about. All right, so that's going to wrap it for this particular video, man. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, and I see Fun Guy saying he can't wait for the Madden stream. I'll be doing that as well, guys. A lot of you guys know I'm connected with that. You know, I'll be streaming, I believe, as early as probably the 26th, I'm guessing. Probably this Friday, maybe Thursday. I know for sure sometime maybe Friday evening. I definitely also have a designated stream time that will be coming your way on Saturday. I just got to get the particulars. I think it'll be 4 p.m. Eastern. And then outside of that, y'all know, you know, the gaming side, I'll be bringing a whole lot of footage in regards to Madden, just doing a franchise and trying to get another Super Bowl with our Steelers. So, you know, try to connect it with the real life Steelers. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and shut this one down. Love you guys. I appreciate everything you guys have done. From the likes to the shares, for the word of mouth, you guys are great. So again, I have to remind you, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. That's the first thing. Hit that like button. I see we're only at 14 likes right now. I know y'all could do better than that. Make sure you cut on your notifications so you know when I'm streaming, because you don't want to miss any special edition streams, which those are always called the Steelers Report. And outside of that, man, just try to have you guys a good week. You know, everybody be safe, be healthy. And I'll catch you guys the next time. Outside of that, we thank you for tuning in for Terrible Towel Tuesday. Here we go, Steelers. See y'all later. Peace.